Now, ladies and gentlemen, why would you read the DMV handbook when someone can read it for you? Also, why wouldn't you listen to it if it's so important? Most important, your life depends on it. This information here is stuff you need to know to be a safe driver. So stay tuned. Spend a few hours a night or day with your headphones in as you work around your house, do your hobbies, and get this most important information. Today we start at page 32, the visual search. Scanning. Scanning your surroundings includes keeping a safe distance around your vehicle. When another driver makes a mistake, you need time to react. Give yourself this reaction time by keeping enough space on all sides of your vehicle. This space will give you room to brake or maneuver if necessary. Knowing what is ahead of you. To avoid last-minute moves, scan the road 10 to 15 seconds ahead of your vehicle so you can see hazards clearly. Now, constantly staring at the road right in front of your vehicle is dangerous. As you scan ahead, be alert for vehicles around you. It's important to scan and not stare in one point. Use your mirrors. Know what is behind you so you can prepare for what is ahead. Allow enough space between you and the vehicle ahead of you to give yourself enough reaction time. Now, take in the whole scene. If you only look at the middle of the road, you will miss what's happening on the side of the road and behind you. Scanning helps you see cars, motorcycles, bicyclists, and people that may be in the road by the time you reach them. Scanning helps you see signs warning of people ahead of you. Scanning helps you see signs giving you directions. Before changing lanes, look into your rear view mirror for nearby vehicles and over your shoulder to check for blind spots. Blind spots can hide a motorcyclist, a vehicle, or a bicyclist. Watch for things about to happen, like a ball rolling into the street or a vehicle door opening. Watch for hazards. Look behind the vehicle ahead of you. Do not develop a fixed stare, so keep scanning. Check your rear view mirrors every 2 to 5 seconds so you know the position of the vehicles near you. On the freeway, be ready for changes in traffic conditions. Watch for signals from other drivers. Expect merging vehicles on on-ramps and interchanges. Be prepared for rapid changes in road conditions and traffic flow. Know which lanes are clear so you can use them if necessary. Do not be a tailgater. Many drivers follow too closely. These are called tailgaters. Many drivers follow too closely and are not able to see as far ahead as they should because the vehicle ahead blocks their view. The more space you allow between your vehicle and the vehicle ahead, the more time you will have to recognize and avoid a hazard. If a vehicle merges in front of you too closely, take your foot off the accelerator. This gives space between you and the vehicle ahead without having to slam on your brakes or swerve into another lane. Most rear-end collisions are caused by tailgating. Now, to avoid tailgating, use the 3-second rule. When the vehicle ahead of you passes a certain point, such as a sign, count 1001, 1002, 1003, and this takes approximately 3 seconds. If you pass the same point before you finish counting, you are following too closely. Now, you should allow for 4 or more seconds when a tailgater is behind you. Allow extra room ahead of you. Do not brake suddenly. Slow down gradually or merge into another lane to prevent a collision with the tailgater. Also, driving on slippery roads needs a little more time. Also, following motorcyclists or bicyclists on wet, icy roads, metal surfaces, and gravel. Motorcyclists and bicyclists can fall easily on these rough surfaces. Need a little extra time. Do the 4-second count when the driver behind you wants to pass. Allow room in front of your vehicle so the driver will have space to move in front of you. Or towing a trailer or carrying a heavy load. The extra weight makes it a little harder to stop. Following large vehicles that block your view ahead of you needs a little extra time. The extra space allows you to see around the vehicle. Also, the 4-second rule for when you see a bus, school bus, or placarded vehicle at railroad crossings. Also, use the 4-second rule when merging onto a freeway. You want to know what is at your side. Knowing what is at your side. Anytime you come to a place where people may cross or enter your path or line of traffic, you should look to the left and right sides of the vehicle to make sure no one is coming. Always look to each side of your vehicle at an intersection, crosswalks, and railroad crossings. Now at intersections, look both ways, even if other traffic has a red traffic signal light or a stop sign. Look to the left first, since vehicles coming from the left are closer to you than vehicles coming from the right. Then look to your right. Take one more look to your left in case there's a pedestrian, bicyclist, or vehicle you did not see the first time. Do not rely on traffic signal lights. Some drivers do not obey traffic signal lights. Before you enter an intersection, look left, right, and ahead of you at the approaching traffic to maintain a space cushion on each side of your vehicle. Do not stay in another driver's blind spot. The other driver may not see your vehicle and could change lanes and hit you. Avoid driving directly alongside other vehicles or multi-lane streets with or without traffic in the opposite direction. Another driver might crowd your lane or change lanes without looking and crash into you. Drive either ahead or behind the other vehicle. If possible, and when safe, make room for vehicles entering freeways even though you have the right-of-way. At freeway exits, do not drive alongside other vehicles. A driver may decide to exit suddenly or swerve back onto the freeway. Keep a space between your vehicle and parked vehicles. Someone may step out from behind them, a vehicle door may open, or a vehicle may pull out suddenly. Be careful when driving near motorcyclists or bicycles. Always leave plenty of room between your vehicle and any motorcyclist or bicyclist. Knowing what is behind you. It is very important to check behind you before you change lanes. Look over your shoulder to make sure you are not going in the way of a vehicle in the lane you want to enter. Reduce your speed. Take a quick look in your mirrors. Also check your mirrors when you are preparing to turn into a side road or driveway and when you are stopping to pull into a parking space. Drive down a long or steep hill. Watch for large vehicles because they can gather speed very quickly. Check behind you when you back up. Backing up is always dangerous because it's hard to see behind your vehicle. When you are backing out of a parking space, check in front and behind the vehicle before you get in the vehicle. Know where your kids are. Make sure they are away from your vehicle and in full view before moving your vehicle. If other children are nearby, make sure you can see them before backing up. Do not depend only on your mirrors or only looking out a side window. Turn and look over your right and left shoulders before you begin backing. As a safety measure, look over your right and left shoulders again while backing. Back slowly and to avoid the collisions. Check traffic behind you often to know if you are being tailgated. If you are being tailgated, be careful. Brake slowly before stopping. Tap your brakes lightly a few times to warn the tailgater you are slowing down. Lose the tailgater as soon as you can. Change lanes and allow the tailgater to pass you or slow down to allow enough space between you and the car in front of you. Now, if this does not work, pull off the road when it's safe and let the tailgater pass. How well can you stop? Well, if something is in your path, you need to see it in time to stop, assuming you have good tires, good brakes, and dry pavement. Now at 55 miles per hour, it takes about 400 feet to react and bring the vehicle to a stop. At 35 miles per hour, it takes about 210 feet to react and bring your vehicle to a complete stop. Adjust your driving speed to weather and road conditions. Turn on your lights during the day if it's hard to see or you cannot see at least 1,000 feet ahead of you. Lane control. Line colors. Solid yellow lines. These mark the center of the road used for two-way traffic. Broken yellow lines. These indicate that you may pass if the broken line is next to your driving lane. Two solid yellow lanes indicate no passing. Never drive to the left of these lanes unless you are in a carpool lane, instructed by a constructor or other signs to drive on either side of the road because your side of the road is closed or blocked. You may turn left across a single set of double yellow lines to enter or exit a driveway, make a U-turn, or into or out of the private road. Now, two sets of double yellow lines spaced 2 feet or more apart are considered a barrier. Do not drive on or over this barrier. Make a left turn or a U-turn across it except at designated openings. Now, a solid white line marks traffic lanes going in the same direction, such as a one-way street. Broken white lines separate traffic lanes on roads with 2 or more lanes in the same direction. Double white lines. These are 2 solid white lines that indicate a lane barrier between a regular use and a preferential use lane, such as a carpool lane. Never change lanes while in these lanes. Wait until a single broken white line appears. You may also see these parallel lines in or near freeways and off-ramps. Choosing a lane. Traffic lanes are often referred to by number. The left or fast lane is called the number 1 lane. The lane to the right of the number 1 lane is called the number 2 lane, then the number 3 lane, and so on. Drive in a lane with the smoothest flow of traffic. If you can choose among 3 lanes, pick the middle lane for the smoothest driving. To drive faster, pass or turn left, use the left lane. When you choose to drive slowly or enter or turn off the road, use the right lane. If there are only 2 lanes in your direction, pick the right lane for the smoothest driving. Do not weave in or out of traffic. Stay in one lane as much as possible. Once you start through an intersection, keep going. If you start to make a turn, follow through. Last-minute changes may cause collisions. If you miss a turn, continue until you can safely and legally turn around. Changing lanes. Changing lanes includes moving from one lane to another, entering the freeway from an on-ramp, entering the road from a curb or shoulder. Before changing lanes, signal, look in your mirrors, and check traffic behind and beside you. Look over your left or right shoulder to make sure the lane you want is clear. Check for vehicles, motorcyclist, and bicycle traffic in your blind spot. Be sure there is enough room for your vehicle in the next lane. Passing lanes. Before you pass, look ahead of you for road conditions and traffic that may cause other vehicles to move into your lane. Never drive off the paved or main traveled portion of the road or in the shoulder to pass. The edge of the main traveled portion of the road may have a painted white line on its road surface. Passing other vehicles at crossroads, railroad crossings, and shopping center entrances is dangerous. Pass traffic on the left. You may pass on the right only when an open highway is clearly marked for 2 or more lanes of travel in your direction, or the driver ahead of you is turning left and you do not drive off the roadway to pass. Never pass on the left if the driver is signaling to turn left. Carpool lanes, or high-occupancy vehicle lanes. In an HOV lane is a special lane used for carpools, buses, motorcycles, or decaled low-emission vehicles. You may use a carpool lane or on-ramp if your vehicle carries the posted minimum number of people required for the carpool lane, or you drive a low-emissions vehicle displaying a special DMV-issued decal. If you operate a low-emissions or hybrid vehicle, you may be exempt from all toll charges on high-occupancy toll lanes. Motorcycle riders may use designated carpool or HOV lanes unless otherwise posted. Signs at the on-ramp or along the freeway tell you the minimum number of people per vehicle required for the carpool lane. These signs also list the day of the week and the hours when the carpool requirement applies. The pavement in this lane is marked with a double diamond symbol and the word carpool lane. These lanes are also known as HOV lanes. Do not cross over double parallel solid lines to enter or exit any carpool lane except at designated entry or exit places. Center left turn lanes. A center left turn lane is located in the middle of a 2-way street and is marked on both sides by 2 painted lines. The inner line is broken and the outer line is solid. If a street has a center left turn lane, you must use it to prepare for or make a left turn, or to prepare for or make a permitted U-turn. You may only drive for 200 feet in the center left turn lane. This lane is not a regular traffic lane or a passing lane. To turn left from this lane, signal, look over your shoulder, and drive completely inside the center left turn lane. Do not stop with the back of your vehicle blocking traffic. Make sure the lane is clear in both directions and then only turn when it's safe. Look for vehicles coming toward you in the same lane, preparing to start their left turn. When turning left from a side street or driveway, signal and wait until it's safe, then you may drive into the center left turn lane. Enter traffic only when it is safe. Turnaround areas and lanes. Special turnout areas are sometimes marked on two-lane roads. Drive into these areas to allow cars behind you to pass. Some two-lane roads have passing lanes. If you are driving slowly on a two-lane highway or road where passing is unsafe, and 5 or more vehicles are following you, you must drive into the turnout lane to let the vehicles pass. End of lane markings. Freeway lanes, as well as some city street lanes, which are ending, usually are marked by large broken lines painted on the pavement. If you are driving in a lane marked with these broken lines, be prepared to exit the freeway or for the lane to end. Look for a sign that tells you to exit or merge, etc. Yield lines. Yield lines, also known as shark's teeth, consist of a line of solid white triangles across a lane of traffic pointing towards the approaching vehicle. This line indicates the point where the vehicle must stop or yield. There's a picture of it here on your screen. Shared roadway bicycle markings, also known as sharrows. You can see a picture of it here on your screen. Sharrows are used to alert other traffic that bicyclists are allowed to occupy this travel lane. When used appropriately, sharrows can also help bicyclists to maintain a safe lane position. Bicycle lanes, as seen here on the screen. A bicycle lane is a designated traffic lane for bicyclists. These lanes are marked by a solid white line, which becomes a dotted line ending before it reaches the corner. Different from a simple white line showing the edge of the road, a bicycle lane follows specific width requirements and is clearly marked as a bike lane with symbols. Bicycle lanes are sometimes painted a bright green color in order to increase the visibility. Treat a bicycle lane painted bright green just like any other bicycle lane. Do not drive in a bicycle lane unless you are preparing to make a right turn or park. Now, before merging onto the bicycle lane, check to see if there are any bicyclists. If you are passing bicycle traffic, pass with at least 3 feet between your vehicle and the bicyclist, and do so when it's safe to do so. When you are making a right turn, you must enter the bicycle lane no more than 200 feet before the corner or other driveway entrance. Do not drive in the bicycle lane at any other time. You may park in a bicycle lane if your vehicle does not block a bicyclist or there is a no parking sign posted. Drivers of motorized bicycles should use bicycle lanes carefully to avoid collisions with other bicyclists. Turns. Left turns. To make a left turn, drive close to the center divider line or into the left turn lane. Begin signaling about 100 feet before the turn. Look over your left shoulder and reduce your speed. Stop behind the limit line. Look left, then right, then left again, and make the turn when it's safe. When you turn left, do not turn too soon and cut the corner of the lane belonging to the vehicles coming towards you. And a safety suggestion. While waiting to turn left, keep your wheels pointed straight ahead until it's safe to turn. If your vehicle wheels are pointed to the left and a vehicle hits you from behind, you could be pushed into oncoming traffic. A left turn against a red light can only be made from a one-way street onto a one-way street. Signal and stop for red traffic light at the marked limit line. If there is a no limit line, stop before entering the crosswalk. If there is no crosswalk, stop before entering the intersection. You may turn left into a left-moving one-way street if there is no sign to prohibit the turn. Yield to pedestrians, bicyclists, or other vehicles moving into their green light. Right turns. To make a right turn, drive close to the right edge of the road. If there is a bike lane, drive into the bike lane no more than 200 feet before the turn. Watch for bicyclists or motorcyclists who may get between your vehicle and the curb. Begin signaling about 100 feet before the turn. Look over your right shoulder and reduce your speed. Stop behind the limit line. Look both ways and turn when it's safe. Do not turn wide into another lane. Complete your turn in the right lane. Right turn against a red traffic light. Signal and stop for red traffic signal light at the marked limit line. If there is no limit line, stop before entering the crosswalk. If there is no crosswalk, stop before entering the intersection. You may turn right if there is no sign to prohibit the turn. Yield to pedestrians, motorcyclists, and bicyclists or other vehicles moving in their green traffic signal light. Right turn on a road with a dedicated lane. You may make a right turn without stopping if the road you are turning onto has a non-merging lane dedicated to right-turning vehicles and there is no sign to prohibit a free right turn. You may proceed without stopping even if there is a red traffic signal light located with the island for vehicles proceeding straight through the intersection. If there is a traffic signal light or sign on the right curb of the right lane, you must follow the directions of that traffic signal light or sign. You must always yield to pedestrians within a crosswalk. No turn against a red arrow. You may not turn right or left against a red arrow. Examples of right and left turns. Numbers on the cars in the diagram on your screen refer to numbered sentences on this page. Always use your turn signal. We'll begin with number 1, this red car. Left turn from a two-way street. Start the turn in the left lane close to the middle of the street, right here. Complete the turn, if safe, in either lane of the cross street. See this arrow? You can go into either lane. Use the center lane if one is available. A left turn may be made from the other lane if permitted by signs and arrows. Number 2, the blue car on the screen. Begin and end the turn in the lane nearest the right-hand curb. Do not swing wide into another traffic lane. Watch for pedestrians, motorcyclists, and bicyclists between your vehicle and the curb. Now, sometimes signs or pavement markings will let you turn right from another lane as shown in the graphic. Number 2, you can turn here. If there's signs or markings on the pavement, you can turn from this lane. Number 3, left turns. Number 3, this red car. Left turn from a two-way street into a one-way street. Start the turn from the left closest to the middle of the street. Turn onto any lane that is safely open as shown by the arrows. And number 4, the white car here. Left turn from a one-way street into a two-way street. Start the turn from the far left lane. Turn into either of the lanes that are safely open as shown by the arrows. And number 5, the white car here, which is a left turn from a one-way street into a one-way street. Start the turn from the far left lane. Watch for pedestrians, motorcyclists, and bicyclists between your vehicle and the curb. Turn into any lane that is safely open, as shown by the arrows. Number 6, the blue car here, which is a right turn from a one-way street into a one-way street. Start the turn in the far right lane. If safe, you may end the turn in any lane. Sometimes signs or pavement markings will let you turn right from another lane, as shown by the graphic. You can turn from this lane or this lane, sometimes this lane. And number 7, the blue car here, which is a turn at a T intersection from a one-way street to a two-way street. Through traffic has the same right-of-way. You may turn either right or left from the center lane. Watch for vehicles, motorcyclists, and bicyclists inside your turn. Okay, let's talk about legal U-turns. A U-turn is turning your vehicle around the street to go back to the way you came. Now, to make a U-turn, signal and use the far left lane of the center lane turn. You may make a legal U-turn across a double yellow line when it's safe and legal. You can make a U-turn in a residential district if there is no vehicles approaching within 200 feet, and if whenever a traffic sign light or traffic signal light protects you from approaching vehicles. Also, at an intersection on a green traffic signal light or green arrow, unless a no U-turn sign is posted, you can turn. Also on a divided highway, only if an opening is provided in the center divider. Now let's talk about illegal U-turns. Illegal U-turns. Never make a U-turn at a railroad crossing or a divided highway by crossing into a dividing section, curb, strip of land, or 2 sets of double yellow lines. Never make a U-turn when you cannot see clearly 200 feet in each direction because of a curb, hill, rain, fog, or other reason. Never make a U-turn where a no U-turn sign is posted. Never make a U-turn when another vehicle may hit you, or on a one-way street. Never make a U-turn in front of a fire station. Never use a fire station driveway to turn your vehicle around. Never make a U-turn in business districts, like areas with churches, apartments, multifamily, multi-housing, and public buildings, except schools. They are also considered to be business districts. Turn only at an intersection unless a sign prohibits it, or where openings are provided for turns. Let us now talk about parking. Parking on a hill. When you park on a sloping driveway, turn the wheel so the vehicle will not roll into the street if the brakes fail. When you park headed downhill, turn your front wheels into the curb or toward the side of the road and set the parking brake. Now, when you park headed uphill, turn your front wheels away from the curb and let your vehicle roll back a few inches. The wheels should gently touch the curb and set the parking brake. Now, when you park headed either uphill or downhill where there is no curb, turn the wheels so the vehicle will roll away from the center of the road if the brakes fail. Always set your parking brake and leave the vehicle in gear or in the park position. A memory tool for your test is, when you park your vehicle on a hill, always point the wheels to where if the brakes fail, your car will not roll into traffic. Parallel parking. Parallel parking is a driving technique which allows you to park parallel to the road in the line with the other parked vehicles. The infamous parallel parking. The steps below explain how to parallel park safely. Number 1. Find a space. Look for a space at least 3 feet longer than your vehicle. When you find a space, signal that you intend to park there. Okay, step number 1. Bring your car to a stop along the side of the car at the front of the space. Take a look at the screen here for the diagram. Number 2. Pull your vehicle alongside the space or vehicle in front of where you intend to park. Leave approximately 2 feet between the vehicle or space next to you and stop once your rear bumper is aligned to the front of the space where you want to park. Now check your rear view mirrors and look over your shoulder for approaching vehicles. Keep your foot on the brake and put the vehicle in reverse. Maintain your signal. Number 3. Lift your foot off the brake. Before backing up, check your mirrors and look over your shoulder for any hazards, and begin to back up. Now at approximately a 45-degree angle. Okay, take a look at the diagram on your screen. So you've stopped. Now you're going to, number 2, reverse into the space with an S motion. Now once the car, this is step number 3, once the car is parallel with the curb, pull forward to center your car with the space. So simple, not as scary as you may think. You pull up, you stop, you back on in, and you pull forward. Number 4, straightening out. This is your straighten out. Begin turning the steering wheel away from the curb when your rear wheel is within 18 inches of the curb. You may need to pull forward or back to straighten out. Your vehicle should now be parallel and no farther than 18 inches from the curb. Also, check for hazards. Check your mirrors and look over your shoulder for any hazards before opening your door. Okay, let's talk about colored curbs. Parking at colored curbs. Painted colored curbs have the following special parking rules. Now, if you see a white curb, stop only long enough to pick up or drop off passengers or mail. This is a pick up drop off curb. Okay, in the green line, the green curb, park for a limited time. Look for a posted sign next to the green zone for time limits or locate the time limit painting on the curb. Okay, so it's a time limit curb. Now the white curb is just a pickup curb. Now let's talk about the yellow curb. Yellow curb, stop no longer than the time posted to load or unload passengers or freight. Drivers of non-commercial vehicles are usually required to stay with the vehicle. Okay, so yellow is a unload and load zone, mostly for commercial vehicles. Let's talk about the red curb. The red curb is no stopping whatsoever. No stopping, standing, or parking. Okay, a blue curb. Blue curb is parking is permitted only for disabled persons or drivers of disabled persons who display a placard. Disabled people with a placard or special plates may park at special areas for unlimited periods of time regardless of time restrictions. Note: placard abuse results in the loss of special parking privileges. It is also a misdemeanor and punishable by a fine of $1,000, imprisonment in county jail for up to 6 months, or both. Examples of disabled placard parking abuse. Okay, these are big no-nos. Use a placard plate after it has been reported lost or stolen without reporting the placard was found. So if you find a handicap placard, don't use it. Okay, it's also prohibited for loaning your placard to friends or family members. It's prohibited to interchanging placards with family members or friends. Also, using a placard when the person was issued to is not in the vehicle with you. So if your grandma's disabled, but you go driving your friends around, you're not to use her placard. Also, it's abuse to be using a deceased person's placard. Okay, let's talk about illegal parking. Never park or leave your vehicle where a no parking sign is posted, or on a marked or unmarked crosswalk, sidewalk partially blocking a sidewalk, or in front of a driveway, or within 3 feet of a sidewalk ramp or disabled person, or in front of a curb that provides wheelchair access to sidewalk. Never park in a disabled person's parking spot unless you are disabled and display a placard. Never park in the space next to a disabled person's parking spot if it's painted with cross-hatch diagonal lines. Thank you so much. We'll continue in the next video. Drive safely.